friends, today I'm sharing a little just for fun watercolor postcard that I painted some loose lilacs on. We're going to talk about some 10 common mistakes that you can make when you're trying to paint small for one, and some easy fixes if things don't go right in your florals. So if you've ever felt like it's overworked, maybe just not quite how you imagined, I think this is going to help. So I bought some of these little postcards. I thought they were super cute off of Amazon, and I'm going to try them out. They have a little label on the back so that you can send your little note and your to who. And they are a little bit more textured than what I usually like. You know me, if you've seen my other videos, I am an Chasse fan, and I like that softness that Chasse gives. I don't like a lot of texture in the paper, but for postcards and for quick little paintings, I think this is going to be fine. Hi everyone, Kelly here. So today I thought we would do something very simple. I got in these cute little postcards. They're watercolor postcards. I am going to show you how to do a cute little lilac, but we are going to talk about the frustrations that you can have from painting small or overworking paintings, especially when they're tiny like this. And we're going to talk about some of the little fixes that you can do as a watercolorist to maybe work it so that you like it. Work it like you haven't worked it before. So I actually wasn't a fan of this one when I first painted it. We all have a tendency to not stop in between the stages quite as much. So we're going to talk a little bit about some of the problems you can have from working small. And it's also a very textured paper, the watercolor paper. And I'm not a big fan of big textured paper. So I was already frustrated when I started. I did this one too quick. I was trying to get a video up because I didn't have one ready for Tuesday. So I was moving faster than I normally want to. Real quick, I want to shout out a huge thank you to my patrons for supporting what I do here. I truly appreciate you. And if you're looking for slower, more step-by-step tutorials where we paint in real time, you can join me over there on Patreon. I do offer a 7-day free trial if you want to see what it's like and see if it's a good fit for you. All right, let's jump in. So I've been doing the 5-minute warm-ups, and I got this little thought in my head. I wonder if I can do a vase similar to that. So you know, when you are practicing and playing with something and you're not super worried about the outcome, you tend to play more and you experiment more. So I put the dashes on here. This, by the way, really didn't work great. I might as well just have painted it in because it was just basically a little rectangle. So I filled it in. But anyway, I do want to talk about overworking our layers. So this is one of the biggest struggles with watercolor, I think, is knowing when to stop. So because I already started this little thing with this vase shape, I was already committed, right? And I think with lilacs especially, it's tempting to keep adding more and more details. But that's usually when things start to feel a little heavy. So try this. Pause earlier than you think you should. Some of those soft, unfinished edges do the work for you. So I am plopping them in here, just using the tip of my number 2 brush and not really worried about the shapes of this, just dots, little dots. And then we're going to dive into water control. So now I'm adding a little bit of water to this. I'm letting everything kind of bleed. It's going into that vase down below. But water control is everything. Too much water versus not enough control. I think if your lilacs are turning into blobs, then you have too much water. But if they feel stiff, like they did at the beginning, you might not have enough. So think of it this way. Juicy brush equals soft blends, damp brush equals control and shaping. So you see I'm doing a little bit of both here. Now this obviously is very wet down in the vase, so I've got a big bloom going on there with the green when I try to put the stem in there. But again, I like that softness. It's that out of controlness that I think is so fun with watercolor, just to let it do its thing. I am doing a little lifting on the side because I want a little bit of a highlight over here. So colors can get muddy very quickly. I'm working with purples and greens, which sometimes can give you a nice brown shade, so you have to be careful. So if you are layering these colors too much and working it too much, your purples and your blues and your greens can get muddied really fast, and it's easy to lose that fresh look. So a good rule is to let those layers dry in between and don't overmix on the paper. I saw that it was happening a little bit at the top with the green, so I stopped, and you can see I just went into the purple, moving some of that around again, back into the blue here to give us a little bit of definition with that rim, and I'm adding some of that blue in here too. So it's reflecting some of those colors. And again, things are still moving a lot. It's still very wet. So at this point, I'm pausing and I am analyzing the situation. We're going to go in with a little bit of a shadow. Now, I didn't think that through either. Again, I'm just playing. I'm just moving around on my paper at this point. But that green, I change it up a little bit later because I didn't like it. But I also want to talk about trying to paint every single flower. So lilacs are clusters. They're not individual little portraits, right? So if you try to paint every single bloom, you can feel very tight and it can be very overwhelming. So instead, think in shapes. Soft clusters, lights, and dark areas, and just make a few suggestions of marks. So I also want to talk about not having enough contrast. So that's a big one, and that's why I'm adding this next layer in here. So I have dried this at this point, and now I'm going back in. I'm going to go with a darker, deeper shade over that purple. So I've got about 3 different values going on here in the purple. The really light in the back, that medium tone in the middle, and now I'm popping in the real dark in the front. So that's going to really make it look closer to us. Because if everything looks the same color or the same value, your lilacs are going to look flat. You can see how if I push that darker, deeper color in a few spots, it makes that whole piece feel more alive, and I popped it right forward in us. So I also want to talk about the fear of letting things blur. Watercolor really shines in those soft blended moments, so in behind there you can see that nice blend that's happening. But a lot of artists try to control every single edge. So if you let some of the petals melt into each other, that softness actually reads a little bit more natural. So brush pressure and mark variety. If every mark looks the same, the painting can feel a little bit stiff. So I want you to try to dab more light areas for blooms, slightly heavier pressure for the shadow areas, and then just a few sharper touches for details. And again, that variation of all 3 of those things, I think makes this come to life a little bit more. And number 8, background hesitation. Sometimes we do get nervous about ruining a piece with background, but sometimes when you leave everything white, it can feel a little unfinished. I chose to do that here with this one just because of time. And I didn't feel like it needed it. I think just having the flowers there by themselves looks okay. But even if I added a soft wash or a hint of color, sometimes I can pull everything together. So if I did like a limey green against that purple and the yellow, the purple and the blue, it might really make things pop a little bit more. Number 9 is comparing your work too early. This one's more of a mindset, but it matters. It's really easy to judge your painting halfway through, and that's what I was doing at this point. But if you let it develop first, watercolor often looks messy before it looks beautiful. So as I'm adding things to this and I'm looking back at it now, watching the video, it really wasn't that bad. I could have added just a few more touches, and I think that's all it really needed. And number 10 is not practicing loosely enough. So loose florals come from practice, not perfection. And I think these quick little studies like this postcard and the daffodils from last week, so if you didn't get a chance to watch that, check that one out. And honestly, it's one of the best ways that can help you improve your watercolors. So give yourself permission to play. So I hope this gave you a few helpful tips if you're working on loose florals or lilacs. I think these little studies are some of my favorite ways to help me loosen up and to make different choices, but I really just enjoy the process without any pressure. Instead of trying to fix it with more watercolor, which usually just makes things a little bit crazier, I like to switch it up, and this is where the pen and ink come in handy. So I go in, I redefine a few shapes, add just some little details, even a word. In this case, I added the word grace, which I love for something soft like lilacs. And when you're struggling, give yourself grace, right? So I love this. It takes the pressure off, and not every watercolor has to be perfect on its own. Sometimes it just needs a little something extra to bring it to life. So if you ever feel like a piece isn't working, don't toss it right away. Try adding ink, try adding a word, turn it into something a little bit more playful. Those almost didn't work paintings often end up being some of the most special. I mean, who doesn't like little hand-painted cards? And I like the fact that you can send it out. Just get everything ready. It's the right size. Stick a stamp on there and you're ready to go. But I think one of the number one things as an artist that you learn is how to fix those mistakes, or how to fix your mistakes so you get something in the end that you're happy with. And I mean, it's so cute. And I put the little words grace on there, but you could put any little words you wanted to. Namaste, mindfulness, all these different little words that might just perk up somebody's day when they get this postcard in the mail. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Make sure to like and subscribe to this video, and we'll see you next week. All right, see you Thursday. Bye.